right, I'm getting myself fully prepared for this huge Week 18 matchup. I'm not shocked. You can actually check to see beginning of the season. I said Week 18 is probably going to determine everything. When the Dolphins struggled against Philly and KC, I said Week 18 will probably determine everything. When the Bills struggled and they were on the verge of collapse, and a lot of Bills fans are kind of thought it was over, I said Week 18 is probably going to determine everything. I'm not saying I knew. I felt it. These two teams were on a collision course, and I wanted my Dolphins obviously to go to the Super Bowl and win, and not be stressed out and losing extra hair. I can't afford it. But part of me wanted this clash of the AFC East team that gave me fits in the 90s to have them come together and winner take all. It's not going to be all. Dolphins are guaranteed a playoff spot. Bills could get knocked out if they lose. So there's a lot on them depending on other teams winning. It's a very smaller chance. But the AFC East victory is going to set these two teams up. Dolphins will have second seed. I believe the Bills will have it as well. And that's huge. No one's getting a bye week. That's only the Ravens, and they're a tough team. We can see that. But if you don't get this victory this week, it's going to be crushing for the Bills or the Dolphins. So I'm going to start my coverage here and go over, because if you can pull yourself out of being the fan of your team, it's hard, I know. But if you just look at it objectively, this is going to be an amazing matchup. Dolphins fans, we're doomed. We're going to get blown out. I mean, anything can happen. But if you look at the Bills, they have been inconsistent. Allen has been unbelievable at certain points, a little inconsistent at other times. Dolphins are at home. Dolphins are actually getting a little bit healthier, less healthy than the Bills. I think this game can go either way. I do give the edge to the Bills. Clearly, they are the healthier team. They have some key aspects that I've been talking about for a couple of years. I don't know if I've heard anybody speak about how the NFL cycle is turned away from fun ball to pass balance as the sweet spot for your offense. I've been saying it for 3 years. And you look now, you'll see the top quarterbacks, you got like 32 touchdowns or something, 31 touchdowns is the peak. Remember back in the day when the fumble league started, it was 40s, high 40s, 50s, we thought 60s, and then slowly the cycle started turning. The pass game started getting curtailed, and the gaudy pass numbers started diminishing. They're still pretty high, yards definitely, but the offense is not driven solely by the pass game. It's about balance. Look at Mahomes. You can see this guy's an unbelievable quarterback, but he's not doing the same numbers. His offensive line has taken a hit on the edges. It's much more whole unit driven on offense. Offensive line plays a major part. The ability to run the football. One of the ways that defenses have curtailed the pass attack is by sitting in light boxes, playing nickel. It used to be you would come out first down, 3-4, 4-3 defense. You'd make sure you have to stop that run, but that's not what they're doing now. Now it's a lot of these teams are playing nickel all day. And the team that could drive the other team out of the nickel a little bit more gives them that one shot where they can then take that big attack and get that big point, big touchdown, or big chunk yards. And so these defenses are now pass first, and it's forcing the offenses to have to respond with a good run game. Not doesn't have to be great. The number of runs plays a higher critical role. Production obviously is important. But the offensive lines, the interior offensive lines, and running the football is key. Now, My Dolphins have had a real hard time running teams out of their nickel. We saw last week against the Ravens, but we are getting Robert Hunt back. And for Dolphins fans who are really down on the team, and it's, understand we got blown out. I mean, 56-19 or whatever it was. But we could not run them out of the nickel. Robert Hunt is a huge piece of the puzzle. We're not going to have Connor. But Robert Hunt allows us to take advantage of these teams that sit in the nickel all day. And Daquan Jones, he came back to practice. The best, I think, defensive lineman that the Bills have all around. Oliver's really close. He's better pass rusher, probably. But when you got Daquan and Oliver, those are unbelievable two pairings. But he's not playing this week. He'll probably be back in a week or two. But there is a little bit of hole there. And if Hunt can come in, there can be a matchup. And both these teams, you're going to hear, it's Allen versus Tua. It is not. Quarterback is the most dependent position. They get all the glory. It's the pilots in the military. The Marines going first and get turned to the meat grinder. And then the Army comes in and kind of mops up and takes control. And then the Air Force bombs it and sets control of the situation. And then the Air Force comes in, drops some bombs, and everyone goes, woo, you saved us. Controlling the sky is the most important thing in modern warfare. But it's all set up by everything underneath. And the quarterback position gets the glory. Obviously, they make the big plays. They're in control of the offense. But if they're not getting the right calls, as you could see with the difference between Shaky Bones Dorsey and Brady, or you're not getting a good offensive line and a balanced attack, you could see how Allen was struggling, and now he's doing better. You could see when Tua has a run game, when he gets an offensive line from him, he gets receivers, and he has the right coach. Everything gets uplifted. The quarterback position is the most uplifted position. So, yes, they're going to play the Pierre de Resistance on top to put it over the top. But these offensive line battles with the defensive lines and getting that run balance is going to be the key. So, I'm going to get into the matchups. I'm going to get into the keys for the game a little bit, and I'm going to keep breaking it out. I'm going to do my live on Friday, 10 p.m. Here. Going to go over the game in detail for both Bills fans and Dolphins fans, because this is a football lover's dream. And then I'm going to be with my man Tommy of Mafia Sports Report on Saturday at 6 p.m. To do the AFC East shakedown. I'm going to be talking a lot there too. And probably have something tomorrow as well as a podcast to set up for this live, because this is it. And if the Bills lose and somehow get booted from the playoffs, it's going to be brutal. If the Dolphins can't get home field advantage and they lose, it's going to waste the peak talent season of the Dolphins, and it's going to be brutal. Somebody's going home crying. Anything can happen. Both these teams could go in the 6th seed and go right to the Super Bowl, whatever. But the likelihood is it's going to be quite difficult, especially for the Dolphins, because they would have to go to KC week 1 and then Bills probably week 2 and then go to the Ravens week 3, and that's going to be real tough. So this is going to be unbelievable. So that's going to be the whole deal, guys. So the likes, the subscribes, the comments, the views, all that stuff keeps me in business. I appreciate all your support from my last podcast talking about my guy Nino, who's battling some real sickness. I appreciate the love that you gave him and I. You are the best. So I want to give you a shout out and a shout out to Ace Per Head, because without the two of you, this show ain't going down. Ace Per Head's betting software is the premier white label platform for bookies to manage their players and grow their sportsbook operation. Click the link in the description below to get set up in minutes. Ask for the Curtis promo and get a special introductory discount. All right, so I said Daquan is practicing again, but he's not going to be back. Dolphins have more injuries. Bills are very healthy going into this game. They have an unbelievable defense. I cannot believe how they responded with Milano going down, White going down, and then with Daquan going down. They bounced back. They're a very tough defense. McDermott's turned him into a more blitz team rather than sitting in zone all day. I think he's done a phenomenal job for the most part. There's been some blips, but guys, it's just the way it is. These are humans. There's no perfection. But that one inside where you got Settle and Linville Joseph, they're okay. Better pass rushers. They've been struggling with the run game a little bit. Oliver's great. He's really, really good. It was a good buy to get him. Pretty much a little bit of a discount too. But that's the one area where I think the Dolphins can get some movement with the addition of Hunt. And they're going to have to. We Dolphin fans, we've been talking about the injuries and this and that. But this offensive line, which I say makes the NFL world go around, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but you got Teron, who is a Pro Bowler. He might have made a dumb play last week where the guy blitzed on him, and I don't know what the deal is with that. And he's been injured here and there. He's missed a bunch of games, but he's played a lot too, and he's been playing one of the best in the league. You've got a Pro Bowler. Jackson was a fourth alternative Pro Bowler, which I think is crazy, but, well, he is. So you've got your two starting tackles, and then you're going to get Hunt back, who has played unbelievable, little bit of rusty after a couple of weeks off. So you're going to, and he's a Pro Bowl alternative. So the Dolphins have all the talent, quote unquote, they're going to need, because this is pretty much the majority of their starting lineup. Now, Connor would have made a big difference, but you can't always expect your offensive line to be totally healed and whole and have every player. But you got your primary backup in Eichenberg. He's getting touted. He's going to be much better than last time. He made call mistakes last time. It wasn't his play. It was just a call mistakes. So now we're ready to go. The only one maybe you could really raise a problem with is Cotton. Well, do you put Jones over there and Hunt next? I don't know. We'll see. But this offensive line, in theory, should be enough to run the ball inside against this small nickel that the Bills like to run. Should be enough to protect Tua. Should be, quote unquote. We will see. This is going to be the key. And then on the flip side, the Bills have turned it around with Brady. They've been running inside. They've been running outside. And it's the run game that's been settling down this team, giving the defense time to rest and allowing Allen not to be the number one end-all, be-all. Now, they have done a phenomenal job running the football and sticking to it. Brady's got a lot more guts and intestinal fortitude than Shaky Bones Dorsey ever had. I said that. If you go back, you go check my Bills podcast, I said, guys, you're going to be very impressed with Dorsey being out the door and Brady coming in if he just is like semi-decent. And I've been talking about this build, the running inside, the play action, and all this. And now the Bills are on target. They've bounced back and they've been heading quite north. Now, there's been some scary little moments, whether it was the Chargers or whether it was this week against the New England Patriots. Allen does not look himself. He does still make those unbelievable plays with his runs and throwing the football. But if you look, this week, the New England Patriots was a tough defense. They're a tough defense. You go look what they did to us, and they were gutted. They managed to hold us in check most of the game. Our first game, it took one big break and a run to get us the win. And they were able to limit the interior of the Bills' three. You got, where's my mouse over there? I lost it over there a second. You got McGovern, Morse, and Torrance. Torrance has been playing really well, but his run blocking has dropped a little bit. But overall, this unit has played well, led by Brown and Dawkins and Morse inside, driving this running attack. This running attack will be key for the Bills to win. But the Dolphins have Sealer and Wilkins and Van Ginkel. Now, the loss of Chubb hurts, but they're going to bring Agba in, who can stop the run. I saw a ridiculous article about, like, the signing of Ingram's got to pay off big. He can pass, or he's on the couch for 13 weeks. He can't really run block. He's going to come in and be a spot pass rusher. Let's not overdo it. It's ridiculous. But we've got 3 studs in there to match up with your offensive line. It's going to have to be about those guys dominating play. Now, the linebacker position is a weakness for this team. Long is great in the run stop. Duke is a great utility guy. Baker is back. He's been practicing, and we're hoping that we can get in there. His speed to cover man and to blitz is a big missing piece of his defense. So it'll be very interesting to see how it plays out, because we kind of struggle with the tight end position. You can see how Likely beat Holland last week for a touchdown, and Kincaid, still not the best run blocker, but he is an unbelievable pass catcher, and he is a mismatch. You got Knox in there to kind of fill in, add along with that. 12 personnel hasn't worked out the way the Bills like, but this is an area where we can attack the interior with Hunt versus, Linval Joseph and what the hell's the other guy's name? Settle. The area where the Bills can attack the Dolphins is hopefully for them in that run game interior. But if we stop that, a way to kind of get things loosened up is with Kincaid. Now, I've also heard people talking how the Dolphins need to shadow Diggs with Ramsey. And I think that's insane. And I'm going to explain why. First off, when you shadow, now you're forced to change things. So either you sit in a zone coverage, what Fangio likes to do, but it's not what you like to do, it's what's effective. So then you play man. If Ramsey's following Diggs around, then for the most part, Allen's going to be able to key in what the read is. Man or zone. And if it's man, although it could be mixed matched, where you have one guy in man or a couple guys in man, and then you have overtop zone. There's a lot of, but you're going to know at least one guy is in man, and likely, based on what our talent is, it's going to have to be a lot of man. And you saw with the Ravens last week, we brought the blitz. We couldn't really get there quick enough. And then you had one-on-one matchups, and if the quarterback does his job, and that's where the quarterback plays out, he's going to be able to attack other areas. So if Diggs, who's not a big play guy, he can be, but it's more route running and craftiness, is taken away with Ramsey, X is not playing this week. That means you're going to have Kohu on Shakir, which I like in the early part of the clock to like somewhere in the mid clock. But once you get past mid clock to high clock, I don't like that. That could be a big play. But then you got Davis one-on-one with Apple. And Davis he could drop the football or he could just do a 80-yard touchdown. And so I think that at certain times, if it sets itself up, you're going to want to put Ramsey on the guy you're most concerned with, but you cannot shadow Diggs with Ramsey. It's going to create clear matchups, and some of those matchups do not suit the Dolphins. These are three potent receivers, and you got a big play arm. Although Allen's been missing some of his big passes, this game is going to be one where big plays and turnovers are going to come up key. And so there's going to be a to and fro of Fangio, who likes to run the nickel all day, and the Bills, who like to run nickel all day. Whoever runs in that A and B gap is going to get a few points during the game where either the safety creeps up to fill that box, or they bring in their 4-3 or 3-4, and then you get the one-on-one matchup and you make the big play. But if you can't drive these opposing defenses out of that big nickel and you're running to the edge and you're trying to pass middle and deep, that's what Allen was doing with Dorsey. It did not work. You can see with Tua when he goes against better defenses, same kind of thing as Dorsey, running to the edge, doing a little, post over the middle. That we did that more than the Bills. And then the deep play and some screens, and it don't work. You've got to take that middle part of the field. You've got to draw in the defenses, break them down, and then create that point where you make the play happen. So for me, Tua, he's going to come up big. He's going to get the ball out quick, and that's going to take some of the pressure off this defense, of this offensive line as the defense tries to get to him, but he gets it out quick. You're going to have Hill. Waddle's he appears to be back. They say he's walking around without a limp, and the two of them create different kinds of leverage. You can't screw around with them because it's touchdown, baby. One mistake. So Tua's going to do that. Will he make the big play? Will he make a turnover? And then you got Allen. He is unbelievable on the move. He's got the gun. He's got ability to hold tight, but is he going to make the turnover? So to me, the two quarterbacks playing clean and the interior run game, how it develops for each side is going to be a major, major determinant of how it all plays out. And that's my focus. I'm going to dial it in more, guys, on the live. I think there's going to be a phenomenal game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I really don't. We got blown out in Buffalo. But, home field is home field. It matters. The Heat's not going to fry the Bills. And, maybe in a second half, it could start getting separated by either side. I just don't see that. I think this is going to be a very tight fought game for the first half, certainly. And it could go beyond that. But catch and watch that run game. Whoever's running that A-B and gap and running that football at best, and whoever doesn't turn the football over, I think is going to win. I'm very excited about this, guys. That's really all I got for you right now. I'll have more stuff, like I said, tomorrow and for the live and on AFC Shakedown. Bills fans, you guys have been supporting me for a while. I haven't given you the coverage I want this year. It's been tough, man. It's been real tough trying to cover the Dolphins in a very particular kind of year. And it's just, my health was bad and all that other stuff. But I'm going to make sure I finish it up for you guys well. I want to say good luck, and I do in my heart mean it. I want you to lose. It'll be a long, cold winter for my Dolphins. But as an evaluator and as viewers of my channel and outside of the FinFan thing, good luck. And I think your team's a good team. I think it's a great team for my Dolphins to meet up in Week 18 to prove who we are. So get ready for an epic game. Curtis saying, catch you next time. Be well. Go Fins! Sorry, I had to do it, Start building your own online sports book today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.